Chosen one, pause for a moment and truly be present with these words. This is not just another message passing through your screen. This is a divine interruption. There comes a time when God does not whisper or gently nudge your spirit. He steps in firmly and directly, because what happens next in your life depends on whether you hear him now. That time is this moment. You have felt something shifting inside you, a restlessness, a heaviness, a quiet knowing that something in your life cannot continue the way it has been. You have felt it in your spirit, even if your mind tried to explain it away. That is God calling your attention. He has tried to reach you through signs, dreams, intuition, sudden clarity, emotional discomfort, and inner truth rising to the surface. But now the signals are no longer subtle. Heaven is speaking loudly because the timing is critical. You are standing at a spiritual crossroads. One direction leads to alignment, purpose, elevation, and protection. The other leads to delay, repeated cycles, emotional exhaustion, and unnecessary struggle. The blessing God has prepared for you is real, but so is the danger of missing it. Not because you are unworthy, not because you are unprepared, but because your next decisions carry more weight than you realize. God has seen things you cannot see. He has heard conversations you were not present for. He has witnessed intentions that were disguised behind kindness. He has blocked situations that would have harmed you long before you knew they existed. But divine protection requires your cooperation, and cooperation begins with awareness. This message is not meant to frighten you, but to awaken you. You are closer to your breakthrough than you think, but you are also closer to a turning point that requires clarity. One impulsive choice could delay what you have prayed for. One conscious, aligned choice could unlock everything at once. Your spirit knows this is true, that's why you're still reading. This is your final warning before the shift. Do not ignore the pull in your chest. Do not silence your intuition. Do not override what God is trying to show you. You are being guided, protected, and redirected for a reason. The next chapter of your life is waiting, but it requires your awareness in this moment now. Chosen one, before you move forward, before you make the next decision, before you act on impulse, you must pause. This pause is not a delay. It is not stagnation. It is a sacred threshold. You are standing between the life you have known and the life God is preparing for you. And the space between the two requires clarity. When God calls you to pause, it is because something in the atmosphere around you is shifting, and rushing at a moment like this can cause you to step into a door that was not meant for you, or walk past the one that was. This pause is intentional. It is holy. You may feel pressure to act quickly, to respond, to fix something, to make a decision just to relieve discomfort. But God is saying, do not move yet. The next step must come from spiritual alignment, not emotional reaction. If you act from fear, urgency, loneliness, frustration, or impatience, you will choose from the past version of yourself instead of the elevated version God is forming right now. Think of the threshold like the moment before dawn breaks. The light has not yet fully arrived, but the darkness is no longer the same. You are in the in-between. You are being recalibrated. Your spirit is adjusting to a new level of awareness. The pause is where your vision clears. The pause is where your intuition strengthens. The pause is where God reveals what your eyes could not see when everything around you was loud. You may feel like the world is asking you to hurry, but heaven is asking you to be still. The blessing is prepared. The alignment is in motion. The shift has already begun. But if you carry old fears, old habits, old assumptions, or old emotional patterns into the next chapter, the blessing could be distorted, or the path could become harder than it needs to be. God pauses you to protect you from premature movement. In this threshold moment, do not force anything. Do not chase what is leaving. Do not cling to what feels familiar just because it is comfortable. and do not rush toward the new, out of excitement alone. Let clarity lead. Let peace confirm. Let your spirit speak louder than your feelings. You are closer to breakthrough than your mind understands. But breakthrough is not entered by speed, it is entered by alignment. The pause is not the end, it is the doorway. And when God says move, the way will be undeniable. Chosen one, understand this clearly. You did not arrive here by accident. You did not stumble across these words randomly. This moment was prepared for you long before you were aware of it. There are encounters in life that are ordinary, and then there are encounters that are divinely timed, aligned down to the exact breath you would take while reading this. This is one of those moments. Heaven scheduled this. Everything in your journey, every shift in your emotions, every unexpected ending, every closed door, every quiet season, every strange stirring in your spirit has been leading you right here. There have been days when you felt lost, days when you questioned your path, days when you wondered if you had missed something or taken a wrong turn. But God has been guiding you the entire time, even in silence, even in confusion, even when you thought nothing was happening. What you feel right now is recognition. Your spirit is remembering something your mind has not fully grasped yet. It is the recognition of divine timing. God has been moving you into alignment, not just externally, but internally. Your heart has changed. Your vision has sharpened. Your discernment has matured. You are not the same person who began this journey. This message is a confirmation of everything you have sensed, but could not fully explain. The restlessness you felt was not discomfort, it was preparation. The isolation you experienced was not rejection, it was elevation. The emotional weight you've been carrying was not punishment, it was the breaking of the old identity to make room for the true one. Heaven does not operate on coincidence, it operates on precision. And right now, you are standing inside a divine intersection, the place where who you have been meets who you are becoming. This message is the signal that the shift you have been feeling is real. Your spirit is waking up to its original calling. This is why your old environment no longer fits. This is why certain relationships feel out of sync. This is why your desires are changing. Your thoughts are deepening. Your intuition is louder. You are being pulled into your destined timeline. God aligned this moment to remind you, you were never off track. You were being prepared. Everything in your life has brought you to this exact point. And now, the next chapter is ready to unfold with divine guidance leading every step. Chosen one, the reason everything has felt different lately is because your original destiny is resurfacing. Not the life shaped by expectations, survival, or circumstance, but the life God wrote for you before any pain, loss, or disappointment ever touched you. Plan A is awakening. There is a version of you that existed before the world told you who to be. Before heartbreak made you guard your heart. Before struggle made you shrink yourself to survive. Before betrayal made you question your value. Beneath every layer of fear, doubt, and coping, the true you has been waiting, not the wounded self, but the called one, the chosen one. This awakening is not random. It is the result of everything you've endured and everything you refused to give up on. Every time you were pushed down but stood back up. Every time you questioned your purpose but kept searching. Every time you felt alone but still believed something greater was guiding you. Those moments were shaping you into the version of yourself who is ready to carry destiny now. Your spirit has always known that you were meant for more than the ordinary. That feeling was not arrogance. It was memory. Now God is bringing that memory back to the surface. You are beginning to remember who you really are, not from your mind, but from your spirit. You are remembering the assignments you were born with. The gifts you carry are reactivating. The inner voice that once felt faint is becoming unmistakable. Purpose is no longer something you are seeking. It is something rising from within you. This is why the things that once satisfied you no longer do. This is why you cannot return to old patterns, old crowds, old roles, or old environments. Your spirit has outgrown them. You cannot shrink back into the version of yourself that life tried to mold through pain. That season is over. The identity you carried for survival cannot lead you into purpose. Plan A is not just about what you will do, it is about who you are becoming. You are stepping into clarity, authority, and spiritual maturity. You are stepping into the version of yourself that God always intended, the one who leads, influences, creates, uplifts, heals, and transforms atmospheres simply by being aligned. This re-emergence is not subtle. It will change how you think, how you speak, how you choose, and who you allow into your life. Your future is no longer shaped by wounds, it is shaped by calling. The path you were born to walk is open again, and this time you are ready to walk it with full awareness, full confidence, and full surrender to God's guidance. Chosen one. Before God elevates you into your next season, He performs a divine reset. This is the part of the journey most people misunderstand, because it doesn't always feel like blessing at first. It feels like release, like loss, like detachment, like silence, like standing in unfamiliar space where the old no longer fits but the new hasn't fully formed yet. But understand this clearly. God is not taking from you. He is making room for what is meant for you. There are habits, environments, relationships, emotional patterns, and identities that were formed in seasons of survival. They helped you endure what you went through. They made sense when you were protecting yourself or trying to hold yourself together. But now, those same patterns will restrict your growth. God cannot elevate who you used to be. He elevates who you are becoming. And to become that version of yourself, the older layers must be released. This is why certain people began to distance, why conversations became uncomfortable, why old habits no longer bring the same comfort, why some connections feel heavy instead of familiar. Your spirit has outgrown what your environment has not yet released, and when your spirit rises, anything not aligned with your elevation begins to fall away. You may not have chosen the ending, but your soul acknowledges the necessity of it. The divine reset is not punishment, it is preparation. God is removing what cannot carry the weight of your calling. Not everyone you cared for is meant to walk into your future. Not every place that once felt like home is meant to house your next level. Not every version of you that once felt safe is meant to lead the life you are stepping into. This shedding is sacred. You are being reformed. Your identity is being refined. The parts of you that came from fear, hurt, disappointment, or self-protection are being replaced with clarity, strength, confidence, and spiritual maturity. You are not losing yourself, you are returning to yourself. The true you, the healed you, the aligned you. And yes, this process is emotional. You may grieve people who are still alive. You may release dreams you once committed your whole heart to. You may outgrow spaces you prayed to enter. It may feel like letting go of pieces of your own story. But God is not erasing your past, He is elevating your future. When God resets your life, He is saying, you are ready for more, but more requires room. Do not fight the release. Do not cling to familiarity out of fear. Do not judge the season by what is being removed, judge it by what is being prepared. Your next chapter requires a lighter spirit, a clearer mind, and a heart no longer tangled in what was. Trust the reset. You are not being emptied, you are being aligned for abundance. What is coming will require your whole self, not the version shaped by survival, but the version shaped by calling. Let it go. Something greater is already on the way. Chosen one. If you can feel this reset happening inside you, if you know something is being released, so something greater can enter, affirm it now. Do not let this moment pass silently. Comment, I release what no longer serves my destiny. Type it with intention. Speak it with faith. This is your agreement with heaven, and if you have not yet done so, subscribe, and stay connected. Your journey is unfolding, and you are not walking it alone. Chosen one. Now that the clearing has begun, something extraordinary is happening within you. God is not just shifting your circumstances, He is activating your spirit. A descent of divine energy is pouring into your life, awakening your gifts, sharpening your perception, and igniting a strength you may not have felt in years. This is not emotional hype, and it is not imagination. This is the moment when your inner spirit comes alive with the power that was always meant to guide your purpose. You may feel it as a heightened awareness, a pull in your chest, a warmth in your body, a sudden clarity in your thoughts, or a calm that makes no logical sense. You may notice your intuition speaking louder, your dreams becoming more vivid, your sensitivity to energy increasing, and your ability to discern truth becoming sharper. This is the descent of divine energy, the moment God breathes life into the calling He placed inside you. This is power that does not come from effort, force, or striving. It comes from surrender. It comes from alignment. It comes when you choose to stop fighting what is leaving and open yourself fully to what God is sending. The divine energy flowing into you now is restoring the parts of you that were drained by past battles, disappointments, or emotional exhaustion. It is renewing your strength, your courage, your hope, and your spiritual clarity. There will be moments when this energy feels overwhelming, not because it is too much, but because you have never been this awake before. Your emotions may rise, your thoughts may accelerate, and your awareness of everything around you may intensify. Do not resist it. This is not chaos, it is activation. The spirit is faster than the mind, and your mind is learning to catch up to what your soul already knows. The divine energy entering your life now will make you see things differently. People, situations, environments, conversations, and choices that once felt unclear will now reveal their true nature. This clarity is not here to make you suspicious, it is here to make you wise. You are being equipped to move forward with precision, not confusion. Do not be surprised if you feel more connected to God without trying, as if there is a quiet dialogue happening inside you at all times. This is what spiritual maturity feels like. You are no longer waiting for signs, you have become the vessel through which God communicates. This ignition is the beginning of your rise. The power you feel is not temporary, it is foundational. You are no longer moving through life with only your own strength. You are moving with divine backing, divine clarity, and divine purpose. You are stepping into who you were always meant to be. The fire has been lit. Do not dim it. Let it grow. Chosen one, whenever your spirit rises, resistance rises with it. This is not a coincidence. The moment divine energy activates within you, the forces that once benefited from your confusion, exhaustion, or emotional imbalance will try to interfere. Not because they have power over you, but because they fear what you are becoming. When the light in you grows, darkness becomes unsettled. You may notice this interference in subtle, familiar forms. Old temptations reappear. People you thought you left behind try to reconnect. Chaos shows up in places that were previously calm. You may feel drained, irritated, anxious, or suddenly uncertain about what you were just confident in. Do not misinterpret this. This is not backtracking. This is spiritual resistance, responding to your elevation. The enemy does not waste energy on someone who is stagnant. But you are not stagnant. You are awakening. And the moment you begin to step into purpose, distraction attempts to pull you back into the old patterns that kept you small. Interference can also appear in your mind. Doubt may whisper louder. Negative self-talk may try to return. Fear may try to convince you that the new path is unsafe or unrealistic. These are not your thoughts, they are the echo of your old self trying to survive the transformation. The identity formed in survival does not surrender easily, but surrender is necessary for rebirth. You must understand this. Distraction is a strategy. The goal is not to destroy you, but to delay you, to drain your energy so your spirit grows tired, to confuse your clarity so your next step becomes hesitant, to make you second-guess your discernment, so you return to what feels familiar, even if it is no longer aligned. This is why awareness is your greatest protection. When distraction appears, recognize it before it attaches. When emotional turbulence rises, pause, do not react. When someone tries to pull you into drama, step back, not forward. Your strength is not in fighting everything that opposes you. Your strength is in refusing to be moved. The resistance proves the breakthrough is real. The interference reveals the elevation is underway. The moment you feel the pushback is the moment you know you're advancing. Do not give power to what is trying to pull you back. Guard your focus. Guard your peace. Guard your energy. You are rising, and nothing has the authority to stop what God has started unless you surrender your attention to the wrong things. Stand firm. The distraction will pass. The elevation will remain. Chosen one, as your spirit rises and the interference attempts to pull you back, something even more powerful begins to unfold. The veil lifts. What was once blurred now becomes clear. What you once tolerated, you can no longer ignore. Your awareness is expanding, not just mentally, but spiritually, emotionally, and energetically. You are beginning to see. This clarity is not logical, it is spiritual sight. Your discernment sharpens. You begin to feel the truth of a situation before your mind can explain it. You sense intentions behind words. You see patterns in behaviors. You recognize energetic shifts in rooms. Conversations reveal more than what is spoken. Silence reveals more than sound ever could. This is not paranoia. It is vision. You are not becoming skeptical. You are becoming wise. The lifting of the veil means you are no longer guided by appearances. You are guided by spirit. You no longer rely solely on what people say. You pay attention to how your soul responds. The body reacts to words, but the spirit reacts to truth. You may notice that your tolerance for certain behaviors, environments, and emotional dynamics is diminishing. Things that once felt normal now feel heavy or misaligned. You can no longer ignore energy that drains you, conversations that lower your vibration, or relationships that exist without mutual honor. This is not you becoming cold. This is you returning to alignment. This new clarity may feel like awakening from a long dream. You may look back on past choices and wonder how you ever accepted less than what your spirit is calling you toward now. But do not judge yourself. You did the best you could with the awareness you had. Now you see differently, so now you will choose differently. Your intuition is no longer subtle, it is precise. Your inner voice is no longer quiet, it is unwavering. You are stepping into spiritual maturity where your decisions are shaped not by emotion, but by alignment with truth. This expansion of awareness also reveals hidden blessings, opportunities that were invisible before, aligned connections entering your life, inner peace growing steadily, synchronicities appearing like breadcrumbs guiding your steps. You begin to notice divine timing unfolding around you. Signs feel intentional, not random. You are in conversation with God without speaking a word. The lifting of the veil is not a temporary moment, it is a permanent shift. Once you see truth, you cannot unsee it. Once you recognize alignment, you cannot unknow it. You are no longer navigating life in the dark. You are walking with clarity, confidence, and guidance. Your spirit is awake now, and from this point forward you will never move blindly again. Chosen one, now that your awareness has sharpened and the veil has lifted, the next step is not more searching, it is obedience. Breakthrough is not achieved by wanting, praying, or hoping alone. It is activated by the moment you say, "Yes, God, I will align." Your destiny does not respond to desire, it responds to obedience. Your elevation has already been prepared, the path is already open, the opportunities are already positioned, but heaven will not force them on you. God will never override your free will. He leads, He guides, He warns, He prepares, but you must choose to step in. Obedience is not about control, it is about alignment. It is the moment your choices, your actions, and your heart posture match the calling God has placed within you. When God says, "Release this," obedience lets it go. When God says, "Wait here," obedience becomes still. When God says, "Move now," obedience steps forward even when the path does not yet make sense. Your obedience is proof to heaven that you are ready to carry what has been prepared for you all along. This is why the pause was necessary. This is why the reset was painful. This is why clarity had to come first. God has been preparing your spirit to recognize His voice, so that when the time came, you would not question whether it was Him. You would know. The next phase of your life carries weight. Your gifts will influence others. Your presence will shift environments. Your decisions will shape the course of not only your journey, but the journeys of those connected to your purpose. And for this level, obedience is not optional, it is foundational. Understand something deeply. Your obedience is your protection. The instructions God gives you are never random. If He asks you to step back from a relationship, it is because something hidden is there. If He asks you to remain silent, it is because speaking too soon would expose what is still forming. If He asks you to rest, it is because your strength is needed for what is ahead. God sees beyond your view. Obedience aligns you with what He sees, not just what you understand. And yes, obedience requires surrender. Surrender of timing, surrender of outcome, surrender of control. But surrender does not mean weakness. It means trust. Trust that God's path is better than the one you could build alone. Trust that what He is removing was never meant to sustain you. Trust that what He is preparing is worth every moment of patience and refinement. Your yes is powerful. It sends a signal into the spiritual realm that you are ready to carry responsibility, authority, and blessing. It unlocks provision, alignment, protection, and acceleration. When you obey, heaven responds quickly. Doors open effortlessly. Opportunities find you. Peace surrounds you. Favor increases. Paths clear. Your destiny is already written. Your spirit is already awakening. Your guidance is already here. Now God is asking one question: will you obey? Your yes is the key, and once you give it wholeheartedly, heaven moves. Chosen one, everything has been leading to this moment. The warning, the pause, the appointment, the awakening, the reset, the ignition of spiritual power, the clarity that tore through illusion, the obedience that aligned your spirit. All of it has been preparation for what comes next. You are no longer standing in transition. You are standing in activation. Your destiny is not something distant anymore. It is not a prophecy waiting on a far horizon. It is unfolding now, in the choices you make, in the energy you carry, in the way your spirit speaks louder than your fears. The version of you that doubted your worth, questioned your path, or hesitated to step into your calling has been shed. The veil has lifted. The old identity has released its grip. You are not becoming, you have become. This is the moment where your steps must reflect your spirit. No more shrinking yourself to be understood. No more lowering your light to be accepted. No more waiting for external validation before you move. You have spent too many years dimming your own brilliance just to make others comfortable. God did not call you to be hidden. He called you to stand in the fullness of your being. Your purpose is not only about what you do, but who you are. Your presence carries weight now. Your voice holds frequency. Your decisions influence atmosphere. Your life is no longer random, it is intentional, guided, anointed. The path before you is not without challenge, but it is protected. Every obstacle becomes instruction. Every delay becomes alignment. Every detour becomes preparation. Stepping forward does not require perfection. It requires willingness. You do not have to know every step. You only have to take the next one, and the next one after that. Destiny unfolds gradually, like dawn breaking the horizon first. Faint light, then full day. Trust the unfolding. You are now in partnership with God, not merely in belief, but in motion. Your spirit leads, your awareness guides. Your obedience creates momentum. You are no longer waiting for your purpose, you are walking in it. So step forward, fully, boldly, without hesitation and without fear. The doors that belong to you are already open. The opportunities aligned with your name are already prepared. The life you were born to live is ready. All that remains is the step. Walk. Your destiny is waiting, and now you are ready to meet it. Chosen one, if your spirit knows this message was for you, if you feel the rise, the clarity, the inevitability of who you are becoming, then seal this moment. Comment: I step fully into my divine purpose. Say it out loud. Let your heart hear your own commitment. And before you leave, like, subscribe, and stay with this community of awakened souls. We rise together. Your calling is not a possibility, it is your identity. And from this moment forward, you walk in it with courage, authority, and grace.